Welcome to Daai Headlines. I'm Anthony Carlisle. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, city volunteers in Paraguay deliver winter aid to poor families in a neighbourhood of Ascension. In our continuing series on the people who protect the wildlife in Taiwan's mountains, we meet the keepers at a sanctuary for Formosan black bears. And Daai Technology, the company that makes T-shirts from recycled plastic, wins a special award to mark the centennial of the ROC. First up today, it's winter in Paraguay, so local city volunteers recently went to the Santa Ana neighbourhood of the capital, Ascension City, to hand out supplies, including blankets and food baskets to 264 families. Though it was overcast on the day of the distribution, the arrival of the volunteers brightened up the residents.
A team of more than 10 Tzu volunteers returned to Santa Ana on the outskirts of Ascension in Paraguay to deliver winter warmers and food to needy families in this neighborhood. Local volunteer Basilia hosts the aid distribution in one of the official languages, Guarani, to better communicate with local residents. The introduction tells the aid recipients where the blankets and other provisions come from. Some of the aid recipients give back in donations. More than an aid distribution, the event is an exchange of love. At the relief distribution are seniors, mothers, and even a family with a cerebral palsy sufferer, all of whom are in need of aid. Along with the supplies, every recipient is warmed by the volunteers' friendship and support.
From Paraguay to the Philippines, where we meet 62-year-old Lolita Marango. Now living alone, her youngest daughter committed suicide and her son was involved in the murder of her husband. Coming under Tzuji's care, Lita, as her friends call her, used some of the money she got from Tzuji to set up a business and now put some of her profits into a bamboo coin bank to help others in need.
Clean and polished, these second-hand shoes are Lita's wear.
Please come and take a look at these shoes. Try them on if you like.
A rare potential customer shows up, but the sizes don't match. Today, Lita has not sold a single pair of shoes.
The nice-looking shoes get bought quickly. The newer ones also get sold quickly because all the shoes here are cheap.
In fact, the business of selling second-hand shoes is not for Lita's sake. She is a Tzu Care recipient and receives a monthly stipend and rice. However, wanting to give as well as receive, Lita decided to start her own business.
Every month, Tzu gives me 1,000 pesos. I take that and buy some material or things which I then resell. That way I have money to put into my bamboo bank.
62-year-old Lita now lives alone in a shack smaller than 6 square meters. Although she has faced tragedy in her life, Lita does not complain, but instead puts her energies into recycling.
I tell my neighbors that Tzu does recycling, so they all give me some of their recyclables.
Although Lita's spirit is unshakable and firm, her house is another story. Seeing the state of Lita's house, Tzu volunteers brought new materials to help her renovate.
I really commiserate with her and also admire her because although she is on her own, she still keeps walking. I think about us, how we're not able to fill up our bamboo banks, but she can, little by little.
At the end of the renovation, Lita's home now has a new wall and roof. Volunteers also leave her with several parting gifts. With this house of love, Lita knows that the path she walks in the future will not be a solitary one.
Run by Taiwan's Endemic Species Research Institute, the low-altitude experimental station is a sanctuary for Formosan black bears. The station currently has 9 animals that were either injured in traps or for other reasons cannot be returned to the wild. In the latest in our series of features on the people who protect Taiwan's wildlife, we meet the keepers at the station. Preparing crates of fresh fruit and vegetables. This man doesn't work in the zoo, but it's his job to feed the animals 3 times a day.
I just love these animals. They're like my own family. I give them a clean place to stay, to keep them comfortable, which is nice for us too.
The animal that Huang Bo-yu loves so much is the Formosan black bear. Marked out by their distinctive white V, there are 9 Formosan black bears at Taiwan's low-altitude experimental station. One lost a leg in a trap, another was released when the zoo where it was staying closed down. For various reasons, these animals cannot return to the wild, so Huang Bo-yu and the center took them in.
Ingo, 过来，来 ，Ingo， 过来，过来，过来，来，过来，就是每天喂它们，就比较。
I feed them every day so they recognize my smell and the sound of my voice because I call them every day.
英国，
他今天心情没有那么好，他通常心情很好，他很快就在这里磨蹭。
可以踏这个。
对对对，都可以踏。
对对对，好。可以踏这个。
对对对。
好棒，可以吗？可以。
We climb on top of the cage to get a better view of the bears. This is where the researchers usually study the bears.
This gives you a different angle, because if you look from the outside, the cage will be in between. It's more dangerous. Sometimes if you get too close, if they get close, it can be dangerous. So you can look from this high view and see how they are using the whole area.
Bears can survive for over 30 years in captivity, so we try to understand if the animals that were reared together exhibit some typical features, but they can still be very happy.
Human incursion into Taiwan's mountains is endangering the black bear's natural habitat. Apart from taking in bears who have lost their homes, the station gives researchers access to these endangered animals and helps raise awareness of the plight of these creatures. Perhaps one day every Formosan black bear will be able to live undisturbed in its natural habitat. Chimei Optoelectronics Corporation and Inolux Education Foundation have come together to help Dashan Elementary School in Taiwan's Miaoli County to set up a low-carbon classroom. The electronic appliances are all powered by the energy produced by 2 solar panels. Moreover, a thermostat, light meter and CO2 detector help the teachers and students know when to switch on and off the lights and fans. With the high-tech equipment, the carbon footprint produced by the classroom is only half that of normal classrooms.
On a cloudy day, the number on this illumination tester indicates that the classroom is not bright enough, and the students immediately switch the lights on.
If the illumination is below 500 lux, we will switch the lights on. If it's above 500 lux, we will just use natural lights. This is a tester for the concentration level of carbon dioxide. If the numbers go above 1,000, it means it's too stuffy. We will then open the windows and use natural breeze as ventilation.
Only when the temperature reaches above 26 degrees Celsius inside the classroom will the children turn on the fans. Here at Dasan Elementary in Miaoli County, Taiwan, a thermometer, an illumination tester, and a carbon dioxide tester gives teachers and students an idea of when to turn on the lights and fans.
If the classroom is bright enough, then there is no need to turn on the lights. We want to share this idea so the students can influence their parents and friends.
If my sister wants to switch on the air conditioning during the weekend, I will tell her, we will turn it on only if the temperature is above 26 degrees.
To reduce its carbon footprint, the school also installed 2 huge solar panels and uses the energy created to power the classroom's electricity usage.
Thermal power creates a lot of carbon dioxide, whereas solar panels don't create any and won't harm the environment.
In a short skit, students revised the story of the 3 little pigs into an inspirational story about our environment.
We want to let the children understand the carbon footprints we have left in the past, what to do to solve the issue, and how to reduce carbon emission.
Combining conservation philosophy with education, teachers and students all work together to safeguard the planet whenever and wherever they can.
For a long time, city volunteers in Myanmar have been going to the Karmayama Nunnery School to share their unique culture with the students. Unfortunately, apart from the humanistic atmosphere in the air, because the school is near a garbage dump, it often reeks of decomposing waste. So the volunteers initiated a clean-up campaign, enlisting the help of the enthusiastic students. It was also a chance to teach the youngsters about environmental awareness.
Rubbish is everywhere as volunteers in Myanmar conduct a clean-up around Kamayana Nunnery School. Around an hour's drive from the city center, the school is absent from the daily route of garbage trucks. Waste from the temple and surrounding households is usually buried or burned around the school. The accumulation of waste over the years has shrouded the school in a veil of strong, unpleasant smells, which affects the lives of the teachers and students. To prevent more waste being carelessly disposed of, cleanups must be paired with environmental education. Volunteers carried out a lively presentation to show students the importance of conservation. Soon after, 63 novitiates joined the volunteers in the cleanup campaign.
I have never done this before. It is really fun to do the cleanup with everyone.
We worked under the hot sun, so in the end we're all covered in sweat. I don't feel tired though, because I'm working with a lot of people. Before, this place smelled of rubbish, and now it doesn't anymore. I'm really happy to see that.
After the first-hand experience in cleaning up, students now understand the need to keep the environment clean and will be sure to pass on the message to more people.
In celebration of the Republic of China's 100th birthday, more than 200 businesses in Taiwan were recognized by the government for their contribution to the country. Among them was Daai Technology, which was commended for making environmentally friendly clothes out of recycled plastic bottles. To help raise awareness of conservation, the company now includes information on how its products are made on the QR code on the price tag. A quick scan with a smartphone gives shoppers the background story behind the items they are buying.
The simple and elegant polo shirt does not use any chemical dyes and is made from recycled materials. It is 100% environmentally friendly. Its tag contains its manufacturing records in details for shoppers to see.
Daai
Technology relies on Taiwan's recycling bodhisattvas, who devote themselves selflessly to bringing us the raw materials we need. We hope to tell their story in each manufacturing history, so consumers can learn how each item was made and the devotion of the recycling volunteers behind it.
With the support of Taiwan's Tzu Chi recycling volunteers, Daai Technology is able to make apparels out of recycled PET bottles. A quick scan of the quick response code on the tag via any smartphone can help consumers understand the story behind the item they are buying.
由这个2维条码能够看出说，哦，原来全台湾一区的
Through scanning the QR code on the tag, you can meet Taiwan's recycling volunteers and get to know the stories of several key figures. This also helps consumers become more environmentally conscious.
In celebration of Republic of China's 100th birthday, more than 200 businesses in Taiwan were recognized by the government for their contribution to the country. Among them is Daai Technology, which will continue to help everyone do their part for our planet.
Johnny Chandra is an Indonesian Tzu Chi volunteer who developed the habit of gambling in middle school. It wasn't until he was hospitalized for liver disease in 2007 and a 25-year-old friend of his died in an accident that he finally realized how he was frittering his life away. Now the reformed gambler is making up for his reckless past by caring for the needy and doing recycling work.
Little can one tell that this caring volunteer, Johnny Chandra, was once an inveterate gambler.
Saya bisa judi itu dari SMP.
I started gambling when I was in junior high school. I know all kinds of gambling games.
In 2007, Johnny was hospitalized due to liver disease. A friend who promised to visit never did as he got killed in a road accident.
The news of his death made me realize just how impermanent life is. No one will ever know if the same thing is going to happen again.
Determined to make the most of his life, Johnny found his inspiration from the Daai channel.
I think the Tzu Chi Foundation is an ideal place for self-cultivation. Doing charity work and helping others is a way to cultivate a field of blessing.
Sarana kita untuk menciptakan berkat, tapi
from home visitations to recycling work, Johnny has successfully shed his old headstrong self and has become much friendlier.
To me, recycling work is a type of self-cultivation. It is also an exercise to train your patience.
No longer the obstinate daredevil he once was, Johnny now understands that happiness is easily achieved by living an honest and compassionate life.
The China Social Entrepreneur Foundation, also known as the Yo Chen Foundation, is a non-profit organization made up of disaster relief groups. After seeing how Tzu Chi helped earthquake victims in Sichuan, the foundation put together a delegation to visit Taiwan. On Tuesday, they stopped by the Shanlin Daai community and were moved by what they saw.
An indigenous man living in the Sanling Dai community in southern Taiwan is singing in his mother tongue of his experience during the 8/8 flood. And the audience of 16 non-government organization representatives from China respond with passion. After the delegates participated in Sichuan earthquake disaster relief efforts and saw how quickly Tzu Chi arrived to help, they decided to come to Taiwan.
We hope to learn from the experiences here and the experiences of working together. We put together this delegation of people who all participated in the 512 disaster relief effort and activities.
Seeing the permanent houses and how residents work in the on-site factory deeply moves the visitors.
Disaster victims, after coming here, still feel like this is their home and they get job opportunities here as well. They keep their dignity while receiving aid.
Seeing how Tzu Chi's work helped disaster victims rebuild their lives, the visit team all say they want to share these experiences with others back home.
On this day, the 30th of June, sometimes mistakenly called London Bridge, the British capital's Tower Bridge officially opened on this day in 1894. Sitting over the River Thames, the suspension bridge is also a drawbridge, allowing vessels on the river to pass unhindered. After 8 years of construction and costing more than 3.2 billion NT dollars, the main dam of the Shimen Reservoir in northern Taiwan was completed on this day in 1964. The reservoir provides irrigation and drinking water to northern Taiwan, generates electricity, and also regulates seasonal flooding. 23 years later, Taiwan's second largest reservoir, the Fei Cui Dam, would also be completed on the same day. Researched and developed by Danjiang University of Northern Taiwan, a new computer system designed specifically for the blind was unveiled on this day in 1995. Using Zhonghua Telecom's voice system and a specialized mouse for the blind, the visually impaired could now use word processing applications. Northern Taiwan Teamer teamed up with Taipei Tsuchi Hospital on this day in 2007 to conduct free clinics for children with disabilities in New Taipei City. The program would eventually reach out to some 50 institutions that care for children. To celebrate Father's Day in Malaysia, children at the Daai Educare Centre in Malacca held a small tea ceremony for their parents as a way to say thank you. Pupils aged 4 to 6 prepared snacks for the event, which was attended by proud mothers and fathers.
Carefully, these 6-year-olds roll each tangyuan into a perfect circle. While in this class of 5-year-olds, every student is hard at work mashing their potatoes up into paste. Finally, in this group of 4-year-olds, children are deep in concentration as they make spring rolls. In celebration of Malaysia's Father's Day, teachers at Malacca's Daai Educare Centre are holding a small thank you ceremony for parents in each of their classes. A cup of tea accompanies the treats the children made for the occasion. Seeing how their children so carefully serve them, parents, many who have taken time off to be here today, cannot help but be moved.
Just now, when she brought the tea and snacks over, I said I could hold it myself, but she insisted on feeding me until I finished.
I almost wish they would never grow up. Today's ceremony was extremely moving for me. I've never seen him like this before. This was the first time that he ever fed me. I have eaten 30 years of glutinous rice balls, but today's was the best I've ever had.
Today's event helped children learn how to remember their parents with gratitude and also gave parents a look at how their children have matured, giving them the best Parents' Day gift possible.
Keeping in stream with their counterparts in Taiwan, volunteers in the United States have been reading the Buddhist classic Water Repentance, and the US headquarters in San Dimas hosted the first public briefing on the stage show of the sutra. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching Daai Headlines. Goodbye.